This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Peter Fury this Sunday. What is it, afternoon now? I'm losing track of time when these.
I think we all are.
A disappointing night for Billy Joe Saunders last night, Peter. What was your assessment of his performance, first of all?
Look, I think we said only last week, didn't I? I said that there's been a world champion, and then you're stepping up to the likes of the Mayweathers, the Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard level, and that showed, because whether we like it or not, that's the reality of that. Because, like I said, this is an elite champion, and I said Billy Joe's going to have a win-win anyway, whatever happens there, and he did. He caused a few problems. Canelo had to really think at times. He caught him with a good few shots as well. So he was in it. But what I will say is this: to the naked eye, people looking at it, they need to understand what's involved when you're on elite levels. Because when you're making something, say you're making a stew or whatever, yeah, you don't see all the ingredients when it's finished, yeah. So what I'm trying to say to you, yeah, Canelo was putting an immense amount of pressure on Billy Joe with his feet, where he was coming in, landing them big single shots, and it's all took a toll. And I think when we got to the round 7, around there, you could just see the body language, the way Billy Joe was walking back to the corner. He was getting very, very tired. So that's the kind of levels you're dealing with. And I think, Mark Tibbs is a very good trainer. He knows what's what, and Mark Tibbs would have been looking at it, and I think he's made the right decision, because I think coming out in them later rounds, he'd have got it, and then anything can happen. At the end of the day, it's up to the trainer to make the right decision. So, who are we? We're sat back looking at it. But like I said, it was the amount of pressure he was putting on. So what you got to look at is he was bull strength, isn't it? Just when you looked at the difference, and he was coming forward, and Billy Joe's not a massive puncher. So he was just taking his time, Canelo. He was just working his way there, working his way through, and it just looked a different level in there, to be honest. And that's the only thing, because what people need to understand, Billy Joe hasn't even sparred that level, because there's nobody on that level, where Canelo's at, so let's take the positive side of it. He's fought a great champion, who's in the peak of his years, yeah, and will go down as one of the all-time greats. So he needs to look at it and say, I've been a 2-weight world champion. I've gone in there. I've not been blowed away in a round. I've not took a shot and completely folded on me back. I've tried and done my very best. So, and the corners decided to pull him out. So there's nothing more you can say. He done the best he could under the circumstances of dealing with somebody like that.
Peter, from your perspective as a trainer, when you're in them situations, we saw recently with Jamie Moore and Carl Frampton only a few weeks ago, where Jamie, threw the towel in, and it happens on countless occasions. But if you're Mark Tibbs there yourself and you see what's in front of you, do you do the same as Mark Tibbs, or is that hard to say unless you're actually in the corner and the fighter?
No, for me, as a trainer looking at it, if I'd have been in there with Billy Joe, I'd probably done the same thing with him, because I could see how it was going. His body language when he started walking back to the corner. He was mentally and physically shattered there. As well as taking stick. Canelo was turning up the heat rapid. Why send the fighter out to get beat to death? Clearly that's up to the trainer to see. You're not in this fight. You are losing it. So what's to gain from it? Because I can see that's what our job is. I can see what normal public don't see. Yeah, he was under great duress through them rounds. I think after the second round, 3rd, 4th, 5th, Billy Joe started to get a little bit confident there, and he was doing a little bit of swagging up and down, and he really come to win it, and he believed in that process. But when you start getting after 5, then 6, then 7, and the screws are turning and turning, and you're getting hurt as well as getting tired, so that's what it is. That's the elite levels you're dealing with, and that's what Canelo's able to do. And Canelo always comes on late, so Mark Tibbs knew what was around the corner, so he's done the right thing by pulling him out, because gets seriously damaged. If I go look at the stats, haven't you? What's he had? 37, 38 knockouts. Billy Joe's had 30 fights. Canelo's been in, he's 55, 56 fights. He's a super champion. I think he's fought more world champions than anybody else. The guy's been in with everybody, And what he said in his interviews, he loves the job. He lives and breathes it every day. He's in that gym correcting things. And it's not necessarily correcting things with punches. It's correcting where you're cutting a fighter off, where that presence is there. The feints, and the fighter's always tense, always waiting for something to come off. When you start going like that, you're in survival mode. And that's how it looked in there. That Canelo was different levels there. So when you've got things like that going on, and you've got a fighter, doing his utmost and doing the very best of his own capabilities, But when somebody's above your level there, and it shows, what's the trainer going to do? He's coming back tired. He was speaking to Billy Joe, not getting hardly any response to everything, So he done the right thing to pull him out. Because where was it going? This Canelo's got 10 gears left. Coming out there, I don't see the point in trying to get somebody stretched out. What's the point in that? So that's me looking at it as a trainer point of view, and Mark Tibbs doing the right thing by just pulling him out of there.
Can you see anyone, even anywhere near the weight, whether it's a weight down, 2 weights up, whatever? Because we know he's obviously moved up through the weights and etc. and gone back down. But can you see anyone beating Canelo at all?
Well, like I've always said, every man is beatable somewhere. But it's going to take somebody on that similar level, because he's not going anywhere. The guy's a serious player. He's learnt the fact of, he's very conservative with his shots. He's hardly wasting anything. But Billy Joe did present some problems in there, because he was throwing punches out Canelo, and he was missing. And he was connecting. He was coming back and connecting his own. Look, he put up a fight. He was in it. We're not talking about somebody here that's been whitewashed. He fought his heart out, so he done the best he could. But unfortunately, when you're up against a pound for pound great, which he is, this is going to be the result. But we're in boxing. You never know what can happen. But you only got to look at the stats of it all, and it would have took something very, very special to get Canelo out of there, or to win on points, especially as well when you got 13, 14 knockouts, and you were somebody who's an elite boxer, 37 odd knockouts. He's coming through you like an express train when the time's right.
And for Billy Joe next, I suppose it's difficult to say where kind of he is now. He's kind of reached the pinnacle fight of what he wanted for so many years now. So I suppose it's just a time of a little bit of time out for Billy Joe to work out what he's going to do next.
Look, it's for him to make a decision. He's been a 2-weight world champion. He's boxed since he's been a boy, and he's achieved great things. Who can say they've been a world champion? Never mind a 2-weight world champion. So he's had a magnificent thing there. And let's be fair. I said before the fight started, this is why you need to respect boxers, because it's a gladiatorial sport. They're going out in that arena, 70,000 people, and it's one-on-one. That's the thing. So the amount of pressure, everything around that whole scene, Billy Joe's never been in or seen anything like it before. Canelo's been there, I don't know, more times than you can count. And I think that was the difference there. It is at that pound for pound, being elite level, there is levels, isn't there? And that's all it was there. You know, it was too much. But you're in it to win it. And this is boxing. That's why it's so intriguing. And, you know, he done himself well. He put up a good fight. But where does he go from here? Listen, it's up to him, you know. You know, if he walked away from it tomorrow, he'd be fine. And if he comes again, he can still. It just depends how much he wanted himself and what he wants to do and what he wants to do. You know, he's 30, so he's got time left. You know, he can really either bite the bullet and say, right, I know where I went wrong. I'm going to really cut the rankings, and go back to the drawing board like Canelo did when he fought Mayweather. Difference is, though, with Canelo when he fought Mayweather, he was 23. So does Billy Joe, you know, he's made a right success of it. You know, I don't see a problem with it. You know, what a way to, if he's going to walk away to finish your career anyway. You know, only the pound for pound great that's going to go down in the Hall of Fame has done any good with you, hasn't he? So it ain't too bad, is it? And like I said, he's not been wiped out in a few rounds, has he? You know, Canelo had to think about it. They've worked on the strategies, you know, and you know, and that was it. So it wasn't all the walk in the park. I enjoyed it at times. I thought it was backwards and forwards through the middle rounds.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm sure. Did you go back to bed?
Yeah, I can sleep on a brick. I did. I'll tell you what I did enjoy, yeah. Listen, Billy Joe's got nothing to be bothered about. You know, that's what the trainers are there for. You know, it's not his call. So let's just move on from that. I thought he'd done well for himself, conducted himself well in there. You know, just up against a pound for pound great. That's all. No harm in losing to a great person, is there? Somebody who is on that level. I thought I couldn't get over them two little ones. What was they called? Soto
one, yeah.
Listen, that was a little fella.
Ending though, funny stoppage that, wasn't it? Not funny stoppage, but as in...
He was up and down like a Duracell battery, yeah, firing them shots, standing toe to toe. You know, you can see why he's been a 4-weight world champion. And absolutely, listen, we don't know what would have happened, but they shouldn't have been stopped like that for sure. He was taking a lot of shots, and he probably could have ended up on his back. Mm-hmm. So the referees in there can see what we can't. So like I said, but for me, it should have went on longer, because you never know in fights like that. The guy was in it. Mm-hmm. He was well in it. I thought the scores. No, I've got to say the commentary last night was bizarre. You know, to give that guy hardly no rounds whatsoever. You know, he was firing combinations off left, right, and centre and giving rounds. You know, and to be fair, I thought Carl Froch had more or less the right commentary with Billy Joe and Canelo. I thought the others was a mile out. You know, saying, you know, Canelo was behind or something, or, you know, this, that, and the other. I don't know what they was watching there, to be honest, because he was just getting walked down in them rounds.
Well, okay. Well, listen, Peter, I appreciate your time talking to us this Sunday afternoon. I'm sure you have better things to do.
Listen, boxing's boxing, you know. It's when it's, you know, I've got boxers myself, and I know what it's like. We all don't want to lose, but this is boxing. That's why it's a great sport. You've got to take it on the chin and move on. But I'm sure whatever he does, he'll make the right decision for himself and his family, because that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, we know he was obviously taken to hospital last night, so I'm sure we'll hear more about that situation. But as long as he's okay, that is the main thing. No problem.
Yeah, exactly. That is the main thing. And like I said, Mark Tibbs done the right thing, because there's no point in getting somebody hurt, is there?
No.
He's the one in there. He's looking at his fighter. He knows him. He can read it better than anybody. So that's up to the trainer what they do there.
Okay, Peter, thank you very much for your time. No doubt we'll speak to you in the coming days or weeks or whatever. And
yeah,
I will let you crack on with the rest of your Sunday.
No problem, KUGAN. All the best to you.
Thank you very much, Peter.